is a literal in this company. Like, drop a one if you follow her. I know that I've been directing my team to her this last couple, like, I'm like, you guys have to follow her. She's hilarious. Like, she's awesome. And I just will tell you right now, like, I'm very picky about who we have on our calls. And I will tell you that Samantha is somebody that you can absolutely learn from. She is a queen at this business. I feel like, wins every single contest. When you just see people's names over and over and over and over again, you guys, success leaves clues. So Samantha, thank you so much for taking your time. Whoops, how do I go back here? No, hold on. Taking your time tonight to speak with us and, just pour into our team. We really appreciate you. But I'm excited. So dude, thanks for coming here. We have lots of questions for you tonight. First one, I'm going to unmute you. I don't think I can. First thing I'd love for you to start off with is just your story. Like, we'll get into all the success you've had with this business, but where were you before this business? Like, I want to know in detail, like, how you found this and like what drove you to start with this industry.
Well, thank you for that introduction. All right, guys. So I am just a normal average girl. I will tell you that right now. I am nothing spectacular. I don't have anything that none of you don't already have. There's no special tools in my toolbox. I also am really, really shy. So me doing things like this is like out of my comfort zone. And it's in a good way because I absolutely love it now. But when I first started, I would be like, no, I can't. So I've been in the business since March of 2015. So I actually will hit my 8th year very soon. And this business is it's my 5th baby. I have 4 kids. I started this business when I was a restaurant manager for Outback Steakhouse. Those of us in the States know what that is. And it's just been an incredible life changer that I never knew I needed until I needed it. And I was living paycheck to paycheck, almost less than that. My husband and I were actually like playing roulette with our bills. If you've ever done that, you know what it is when you're like, can we pay electric this month? And then we'll do this month and this month. Like, that was our life. And the reason that we got ourselves into that hole was because we got together when I was 22 and he was 25. My husband already had a son. He had when he was 20, who was 4.5 when we met. And we got pregnant 2 months into our relationship. We just partied and hung out and we got pregnant and we were going to have a baby, and we both were college dropouts. He never graduated and I dropped out of nursing school and cosmetology school. So I legitimately am a beauty school dropout. We got in this cycle of debt snowball and we couldn't get ahead. Right. So I went into preterm labor with our first child together, and I was on bed rest, couldn't pay the bills, got laid off from my job, like all the things. And then 2 years after we had him, we could not afford another kid, but we did it anyway, right? Like, we all make stupid decisions. And we got pregnant with our daughter. And again, preterm labor, bed rest, couldn't work, la, 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 la. All the things kept piling up, all the hospital bills, and it just kept building and piling. We were renting at the time. And we were like calling around trying to get approved for mortgages, trying to get our credit up, trying to pay our bills. And we just could not get ahead, right? We've all been there. It was so bad that I was literally searching through my kids' piggy banks to buy groceries. That's how bad it was. I was stealing money from my kids to pay for groceries. And the reason that I tell you this is because I know that so many other people are there. And the reason that we felt like that was normal was because that's what my family did. My parents had a stack of credit cards hidden in a drawer this big. My parents had our house line shut off because debt collectors were constantly calling. I wasn't allowed to answer the phone in my house because my parents knew that it was somebody looking for money. I grew up knowing or being taught that that was normal, right? Like, constantly envying people who had money, people who were able to buy a new car, people who were able to put their kids in whatever they wanted to do. I shopped at Walmart when I was in school, Walmart, and I'm proud of it now because they got some cute clothes. But back then, that was not a plus, right? Like, I wanted to go to Hollister, I wanted to go to Abercrombie, I wanted all the things. I was not raised that way. And we got to this point where I was like, you know what, enough is enough. I didn't want to teach my kids that was okay. I didn't want them to grow up struggling. I didn't want them to have to want or need. I wanted to be a yes mom. I didn't want spoiled, rotten little brats, but I did want kids that would be like, oh, I really could use this, or I'd really like to have this. And if they deserved it, I wanted to give it to them. So It Works fell into my lap on March 31st after my husband and I had the biggest fight about finances that we ever had, right? The one where you like don't want to go to bed because you're so angry. And I was literally hysterical. It was to the point where the D word came up, right? And I was like, maybe if we separated and it would fix things because weren't together, we could figure it out. Right. Like that's the point that I got. And I love my husband to death. If you've ever been around the two of us, like you watch my reels, he is my rock. So for me to say that I was willing to leave him to fix things, it was bad. So lo and behold, I was on my phone at 11 something at night, March 31st again, and my enroller got into my inbox for like the umpteenth time. And she was like, "Are you ready yet?" And it was that one message, that one quick, "Are you ready?" message. I will always preach the short and sweet because it worked for me. It worked on me. And I finally said, you know what? Fine. What do I have to do? Sign me up. She sent me the link. I had just seen her earn a $10,000 bonus, the diamond bonus. So I was like, fine. If she can do this, I'll try. This is why I always preach, talk about your wins. Obviously, we have to do it compliantly, but talk about your wins. So she just earned that bonus. And I was like, if she can do this, there is nothing that girl has that I don't have. We live 20 minutes apart. We know the same people. If you ever said I can't do this because I know the same people, or somebody ever told you that, they're lying. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I joined. Part of me joined because I never wanted to see her name in my inbox again. The other part of me joined because I was like, you know what? Maybe I could do this. I felt that pull, right? When we join, we feel that pull. Otherwise, we wouldn't have said yes. So I did. And I went Ruby in 3 months. I went Emerald in 5 months, and I stuck at Emerald for 2 years. I actually dropped back to executive before I promoted to Diamond and Double. It was conference of, oh my gosh, don't kill me. I think it was 2017. I was watching it in my now triple going Prez's basement because we didn't even go that year. Couldn't even afford it. You guys, I fell so hard. I could not even afford to go to another conference. So it was back when we did pay-per-view. So we got it in our basement. There was like, oh, Caitlin's going to kill me. There was like 8 of us, right? And we watched it, and her and I just looked at each other. Now she's been my rock. She's been in a year. She joined a year after me. We looked at each other and we're like, we're going to do it. We're either going to go all in or we're going to fail, or we're going to like bow out gracefully. So we went in. It is when Host to Post started. I will still claim I'm one of the original founders of Host to Post because of this. I figured out what it was. I figured out how easy it was. And we went from me barely holding executive to Diamond that month, and then Double Diamond the month later. And then a year and a half after that, we found out that we were pregnant with our third together. Obviously, we have 4 total. And I found out that I was pregnant in June. I went from double to triple in August. So 2 months after I found out that I was pregnant with our 4th baby. And then I promoted from triple in August to presidential that February. Still a Prez now, but I am proudly a presidential diamond. I love this business. I love everything it stands for. Most importantly, I love the fact that if you are goal oriented, if you are driven, and you know why you are doing this, anybody can be successful. I am a small town girl from Pennsylvania with nothing different than anybody else here. And this is it. I brought my husband home. We bought our dream home. We bought our dream vehicles. I drive a freaking Escalade, you guys, and it is paid for. And I say that proudly because I worked really, really hard for it. And my kids are happy. They are fed, they are clothed, and we are just going to continue to share this business because now it is our job to change others' lives. I did all that stuff for me. Now I get to do it for everybody else. So there's my story.
Dude, okay, that was so good. I like knew a little bit of your story. I totally thought you were ambassador, so I'm just gonna like speak that over you. Also, you and your
2023.
Exactly. I'll come with you. That I will say also, you have a fun family. I will tell you that. I will tell you that much. Being Dominican with you and your sister-in-law and your husband you guys are awesome. It was so awesome to meet you. I really respect your story. And like, I think that it's so easy to look at people and like see the highlight reel. Drop a 1 if you've ever looked at someone in this business and you're like, trying to piece together their success because you see it on social media. But what we need to talk about more is the valley. It's going Emerald for 2 years. Like how many people would bow out, like she said, and then dropping to executive. And then there's like, it's like time to like crap or get off the pot. Like you make a decision. And so that decision led you to presidential diamond. Now, obviously, insert income disclosure. I don't even know what it actually is. But, guys, for those of you that are new on here, presidential diamonds, they average about 20 grand a month around or something like that. And I'm, it's something like that. I forget, but
that's my husband's paid as triple. So put that together, you guys. Like,
dude,
it's yeah.
Dang. Okay. So if that didn't wake you guys up, let's get our pen and paper out. So I have a lot of questions for you. The first one I want to ask, because I feel like straight up a lot of people need to hear it right now. there, you know, in business, you're going to have peaks and valleys. Okay. And I really believe that in the peak is not where you learn, that's not where a champion is made. It's in the valley. It's in the, I drop down to executive and it's time to decide. Right. So in that moment, and if you're someone in a valley, I want you to listen to this. What does that process look like where you said, okay, this is my decision, I'm going. What did your action look like? Was it just action that contributed to the success? Like, kind of walk us through that.
So I'm going to tell you that the best parts of my business came right after coming out of that valley. Anytime that I've ever had a big explosion were after something big happened. I'm going to give you an example before I go through how I've gotten out of it. Right before Winner's Circle, and you guys, mind you, I've earned all three. I earned both Winner's Circles and the Islands. Right before that happened, I had a big falling out with the girl that's now my triple going prez. Like, we just, business, stuff went on and we just like weren't speaking, things weren't good. And I thought that was my end. I felt like losing her, losing that relationship and losing her in this business was going to be the end of my business. And thankfully her and I were able to work through our differences, and now we're even stronger than we were before. But going through that valley helped me to get to where I am now. And I had to take the focus off of what was going on in that situation. And I had to put the focus on what I'm able to do in this business. And at the end of the day, no matter who leaves, what relationships are strained, what goes on here, what goes on there, you have this business. And even if you have to start over from the beginning, not necessarily like wiping your entire chart saying things are over, but in your mind, if you have to start back and say, hey, things aren't going the way that I want them to, things aren't going the way that they were going, or so-and-so left, or this happened, you can take a step back and say, what are the fundamentals to this business? What are the ways that I am able to make money in this business? And right now, the way we make money, tier 1 and tier 2, baby. So if you need to go, okay, I can enroll some customers and some DTs and I can earn some bonuses, then take a step back and focus on that. So that's where I'm going with that. But how I get myself back into that mindset is I go back to those basics. But you have to start with you. You have to start with where you are, where your head is at, and what you want and what your goals are. If that doesn't align with your work ethic, then it's just going to continue to fall apart. So sometimes, and I'm a big believer in this, guys, I took Saturday and Sunday off this weekend because my head wasn't where it needed to be. I'm still rocking and rolling. I'm still doing the things, but I just looked around me and I was like, I'm really stressed out. My kids got sports. We're getting our basement done this week. So I literally had to clear out my entire basement, had to buy Christmas presents for 4 people, like all the things, right? We've all had that thing where we're like, all the things are on my shoulders. I took the weekend off because I knew that I needed to reset. And guess what? I hit the ground running at 7:00 this morning. So you need to know when you need to take that break. And you need to also know that it's okay to take a break, but you learn to rest. You don't learn to quit. So take that time off, reset, rethink, get your goals right. If you need to do a dream board again, if you need to sit and scroll Pinterest because that's where you get your best ideas from, if you need to go walk through a house because you want to buy a new house, go walk through some open homes, or you need to go test drive a car, or you need to go to the mall and you need to browse some new sneakers because that's where your mind is. Go do the things that will realign you with where you want to go first. And then after you do that, come up with your action plan. And for me right now, I always go back to host to post. Always. If things aren't going the way that I want them to go, I get out a tracker and I start at number 1 and I get my names on the list and I go. And the second thing that I do is I remember what it takes to make the amount of money that I'm looking to make personally myself. And for me, I love these bonuses so much that I'm like, okay, if I make X amount of dollars in weekly bonuses, I'm not even worried about my commissions right now. So I know personally what I need to enroll in order to make that happen. So if I know that I need distributors, that's my focus. If I know I need customers, that's my focus. Like, be so goal oriented that that's what you chase after.
Yeah, I love that. Sorry. And by the way, I'm running around yelling. If you go in the middle, I'm like, wait, hold the fork down. Thank you. But I love it. And I think that, when I hear when I hear you say this, it's just, you're focusing on what you need. And I think that's a very important piece to take, you guys, because what you focus on, you will get. So if you're focusing on, okay, I know I need distributors and I'm going to learn and apply the skills and have the conversations and be intentional in that aspect, what are you going to get? Distributors. Same thing with customers. Same thing with negativity. Right? So remember all of these things, like where you focus your energy, you're going to get more of it. And so you're just focusing on what you need. And I think another thing is understanding, like, you have to have the goal. Like drop a 1. Let's just call it for what it is. What number are we on? 3, 2, I don't know. Let's do 3.
Like that.
Drop a 3, drop a B, I don't know, drop a C, I don't know, whatever. Drop a C in the chat. If you're like, I think right now I'm in a mode of coasting. Let's just be honest. We've all done it in our business where we're like, okay, I'm just kind of doing the things to do the things, I'm kind of just like going through. When you know why you're in the game, everything becomes a lot easier, and that's where you truly get the results. So I love that you started that. So, okay. So let's say someone's like, okay, crap, I just dropped a C. Now I got to get to it. What's my action steps? What would you say? Like if you had to give somebody a list of things that you're like, I do this every day, this is my non-negotiable, what's bringing you results right now?
The first thing that I make sure that I do every day, and you guys are gonna be like, well, duh, I post reels every day, because when I'm posting that type of content, I'm bringing more eyeballs on my page. So that's like my very first thing is I make sure that I get that reel up. And I do a couple a day. I try to do 2 or 3 a day. But the second thing that I do is I make sure that I'm telling my story in my story. I don't post a lot on my Facebook, you guys will notice, because my Facebook's dead, but I will make sure that I continue to post in my story, and I talk about who I am, why I'm here, how I got here, and how they're able to do what I am doing. And then, like I said, I do host a post so much. I could do it in my sleep, I think. And the way that I get them up, if I'm feeling stuck, I literally will just go and ask down my inbox. Like I will just ask. I don't care what we talked about last. I don't care what they told me. I don't care if I'm 10 in the blue. I will send them an ask message and then I archive. Right. I don't love to sit on unread messages. So I'll send those ask messages out and I archive, and I don't wait around for people to respond. The last thing that we want to do as moms, the last thing that we want to do as professionals in a workplace is sit and stare at our phones. So do the task and do something else afterwards. Don't sit and stare. Like I'll do the task. I stay at home, obviously. I'll do the task. I'll go hang out with my toddler. I'll do the task. I'll go do a load of laundry. My husband's probably laughing because he actually does laundry, but don't sit and stare at your phone. Do the thing, send out 30 ask messages, put it down, go do something else. And then put a story up, go down and do something else. But asking on for host posts is like my non-negotiable number 1.
Okay, so just a question that I'm curious. So when you like archive it, let's say like I message you, you leave me on red, I archive the message, but then you respond. Is that gonna, that will pop back up for me, won't it?
Yeah. So if you're in Messenger and you swipe left, do you see how it turns purple and it says archive?
Yeah.
If you swipe all the way left, it'll actually archive it. If you archive a message on Facebook, not Instagram, DMs are crazy. If you archive a message on Facebook and that person responds, I see Shania's name. If Shania messages me and then I respond and whatever, and I feel like, oh, the convo's dead, she's not going to answer me, I'll archive it. Let's say 2 days from now, Shania decides to respond to my message, it'll pop back up in my inbox. So as long as you don't delete it, you're able to see the entire previous conversation, as long as you are archiving it. And there's also a way to see archived messages. If you click, if you click your name up at the top, your profile picture, you can click on archive chats, and every single one usually takes a minute, but every single archive chat is in there and the entire conversation is still there and it's not sitting in your inbox.
Dude, that's so smart. And then it just like clears it up.
Yeah. Like do you guys do reach out messages? If you're like, oh, I'm going to message 50 people about the opportunity, archive them afterwards. If you sit there and you're staring at 50 unread messages or 50 unanswered messages, that is like the biggest buzzkill in the world. I literally will just archive them all. Active conversations, I will leave. So like if I'm continuously talking to you about gummies and you haven't ordered it, I'll leave it. But if you've like ghosted me after 4 messages, archive.
You're in the archive. You're in the folder.
Mm-hmm. And you can still search the conversations. Like if you're searching keywords, they'll still pop up, but they just won't be right there.
Dude, that's really smart.
Mm-hmm. It's just, I'm super ADD. So if I like go through my inbox and I'm like, there's 50 messages of people that haven't responded to me, that kills my vibe. So I just, they're gone. I'll say it out of mind.
Wow. Okay. So I love this. Now, I feel like a lot of people drop a Z in the chat, just joking, but seriously, drop a Z in the chat if you're scared to message, if you're fearful of like talking to people. Okay. It's just anybody. Okay. Now, I'm going to assume that you get a lot of enrollments because you're messaging for HAP, you're messaging for distributors, you're messaging for customers.
Yes. So my goal is now, you guys, mind you, I work mostly Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday are family time. So there's no like consistent me sitting on my phone. That's just the point that I'm at. But I aim to get 20 host to posts a day, Monday through Friday. Okay. That's 100 a week. And that way on let's say a Saturday, especially in Pennsylvania, like we get snow in the winter and I've got time to do nothing, I will sit and I will work on following up on those host to posts. But my goal is to get them up during the week. That is where I get the majority of my customers from. I also ask every single person who hosts a post for me into the business. And then as far as me messaging for distributors, I message for distributors on Instagram. Every night before I go to bed, I send out about 100 ask messages on Instagram. So that's just, and that is Monday through Friday also. So that's just in my head. That's what I do to keep my business flowing. And it's not like, if you're doing it in a intentional way, it's not overly time consuming. Because like I said, what I do is I'll send 30 messages out and then I'll go do something else. 30 messages out, go do something else. If I am going to the grocery store, I'll send 30 before I go inside. And then when I come back out, I'll send another 30 before I drive home. If you're working full time, get to work 5 minutes early, send out 30. Get on your lunch break, send out 30. If you're sneaking to the bathroom, send out 30. That's just in my mind what I can do to keep my business going. And then when you get home in the evening after you make dinner, your kids are settled, that's the point where you answer those people back and say, okay, here's the post, here's the post, here's the post. If you're doing these actions in clusters, then you're not spending so many hours going, do, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, here, like do things in a way that you're able to do just one task at a time. I talk with my hands a lot. Sorry.
No, I love it. I'm like, yes. Okay. So you're time blocking it. You're just like doing small little tasks. Okay. Now here's another thing. Cause I know people are thinking this and I've already seen it in the chat. They're like, oh no, like when I message people, they're not answering, or like not everyone answers me. Like, obviously you're running into that too. Like, what are your averages, would you say?
I would say for every 30 that I send out, I probably get 5 people to answer me back. And that's really low. But you know what? Everyone thinks everything is a scam these days. So I'm to the point where I'm like, all right, I'm just going to ask and move on, ask and move on. And I always I'll find different ways to ask people, and I don't always do the same thing. So sometimes, and I usually do this once or twice a day, I'll go to my contacts in Messenger. Does everybody know how to do that? I can show you if you don't, but I'll go to my contacts list in Messenger. It sorts it A to Z, and then I'm able to message down through that list. And that's really, really easy to do. Basically, you click on your people down here at the bottom of Messenger. Once you click on that, up at the top, it'll give you a little contact list. I know a lot of people do this for their host post asks, but it literally sorts from A to Z every single person you have ever talked to on Facebook, ever. Even if you're not friends anymore, even if they blocked you, it actually still shows them. But you will have thousands of people in here. Now, here's what I'm going to teach you. If you haven't done this yet, this is where you're going to start messaging for host to post. Start with the very first person. Okay. You're going to message down 30. I don't care who they are, how you know them, if they're a man, if they're a woman, I don't care. You're going to message 30 people. Then when you're done, when you get to wherever you're stopping. So let's say, this is actually my sister-in-law. Let's say Abby's the last person or the next person that I need to message, right? I'm going to scroll till Abby is the first person at the top. I'm going to screenshot it. So then when I go back to message later, I can go in my pictures in my phone and go, oh, Abby's the next person I need to start with. And then you can scroll down to Abby, send 30 more. On the side here where it has the alphabet, you can actually skip to letters. So I'm actually going back through again and I'm on D. So I can hit the D on the side and it'll take me to the very beginning of the Ds. So you actually aren't going like this the whole time. Okay. And then when you're done with that, when you do your 30, go to your inbox and archive all of them, out of sight, out of mind. But I want you to do that until you get all the way down to Z. And then when you get to Z, I want you to start all the way over again.
Whoa, dude, I was looking at my phone. I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, here's the really quick secret though. Make sure you turn your active status off before you do this, because if your active status is on, it actually makes it really slow because it shows you everyone else when they're active. So if you turn that off, it'll let it go faster. And you can do that too by clicking on your little picture, and up at the top, it'll actually let you, when you go to active status right here. Okay. You can toggle it off. You can also do that if you don't want people to know that you're currently on your phone. I do that a lot. when I'm like, I don't want my team to know that I'm like on my phone because I'm actually working. So I'll turn it off and it's okay. Just make sure you turn it back on if you want to.
Okay, so everyone's like, I don't want to sleep again. Okay, so can you share how you got there? So when you open your messenger, click
Yes. And I
people.
don't know how to do this on Android. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm 100% team iPhone. When you go in your messenger, down at the bottom, it'll say chats, calls, people, and stories. But if you click on people and then you go up to the very top, there's a little address book and it shows every single person that you've ever talked to on Facebook. Isn't that crazy?
That is so crazy. So so when you're messaging, it's mostly Hap, or like, are you just like you're doing DT reach outs on Instagram. Okay. So without giving your exact wording, just like a brief, like, what does your message sound like? You said it's short and sweet.
Yeah.
Or like, what would be an example of like a reach out for like a DT?
I'm going to send it to you so I can read it. Hold on. And you can use it. I don't care. Change it around a little bit if you can. If not, yes, whatever. Like one team, one mission. We're all in this for the same purpose. So where'd you go? It is. Oh, here we go. Hey girl, don't worry. I'm not asking you to buy anything. That is key. As soon as someone sees a hey girl message, they assume you're trying to sell them something. So, hey girl, don't worry, I'm not asking you to buy anything. I'm actually doing another instant cash giveaway to help families with Christmas expenses and wanted to know if you want an entry into the drawing. It's my way of giving back to my friends and followers. That's it. That's it. And then I archive all of them. It's super easy. But for me, the way that I decide what I'm sending, I do host a post if I need to get them up. If I am trying to reach a goal, like let's say I need another customer by midnight because I'm trying to hit a tier 1, then I will send out product asks. If I need a distributor like crazy, I'll send out distributor asks. But if I'm not trying to reach a goal or hit a deadline, then I always go back to just doing host to post ask messages. Because if you think about it, host to post helps you grow your network. Host to post brings you in potentials, and host to post also helps you sign distributors, because every single person, again, that I ask to host a post or they do post, I ask them into the business. So always lead with that. I always go back to that.
Dude, this is genius. Okay, now I'm going to jump to something else, because this is actually why okay. Can I like tell you, I have analyzed you. My team I'm going to ask you a question. You have to tell me if I'm right or wrong. Okay. Because I said to my leaders, I'm like, I know what she's doing on Reels and TikToks, and I think I figured out your strategy, and I think I know why it works so well. Are you ready? You have to tell me if I'm right. Okay. Okay. So if you guys follow Samantha on Reels and TikToks, you have the most hilarious, like, that's how I knew I was gonna like love you, because I was like, you're hilarious. Okay, so most hilarious, like, mom, funny couple. Like, a lot of your reels aren't to do with the business, would you say, right? Like, most of them are like just funny niche. Okay.
Yep.
Now, are you taking words off memes and putting them on reels? Is that what you do? Yes, I knew it. I was like, dude, yours are so funny. I went down your rabbit hole. I was like on your page for like 40 minutes one night.
So my husband, well, actually, hopefully there's nothing inappropriate. There probably are. But if you see, there's like, oh, told you we're getting your basement done. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4. He sends them to me so I can make videos. So anybody on here have a husband who scrolls TikTok or who finds memes or their friends send them to them? Tell them when they find something that you can use, send it to you. 99% of them are from my husband. You guys, it doesn't take a lot of work. You don't have to be, I'm not that creative. I'm not that funny. I'm super shy. But what I can do is find a sound and go, oh, that would work with this one or whatever. Like, it's not that difficult. But what I'm doing when I'm making my reels is I am creating a connection with people. I'm creating a trust with people. So when it comes to me asking them to post for me, they feel not inclined, but they feel comfortable with me because they feel like they know me. So when I'm asking them to share my giveaway, they don't say no, because they're like, oh yeah, she can't, there's no way she's up to something, like whatever. Like they feel like they already know me, so they're fine with doing it. So make the reels. I don't do a lot of business. I don't do a lot of products. I've tried, but I feel for me personally, I have a way more thriving business doing host to post. And in that, for me, I don't have to spam people all day long with products and business. And if you do that, I commend you for it. I've been there. I've done that. Like, I used to run my business that way. I don't enjoy it. Right. Remember I told you, find the joy. That's my joy. I enjoy doing host to post and I enjoy doing reels. So I found a way to make them both work for me.
Well, and what I love about what you do is it's actually very duplicatable, because I look at you and I'm like, okay, you're a funny mom, like, couples comedy, like, like Savage Drink. Like I love the wine bottle thing. I was like saying to Mike, I'm like, I want to learn how to do that thing. But that's like your brand, right? Like, so let's say funny mom. Like I would say, guys, drop it in the chat. What would be something that you would consider your niche or your brand? Something that makes you, something that interests you. Could be literally anything. Okay. You could literally take whatever your brand or your niche is, Google viral quotes about baking, viral quotes about, hiking, or like, being a special needs mama, being funny things about being a toddler mom, like things like, you could Google, Pinterest, viral, like quotes or sayings, and literally just lay them over like you do. And like you said, you get so much exposure and trust through that. I mean, I felt like I knew you before I met you. And I was like, this is so accurate. And so then when you're in your stories, like this is how you can just explode this business. You bring so many people in, thousands and thousands and thousands, through the relatable posts that have nothing to do with this business. But then what are they watching you do in your story? Talk about, being in this business, talking about your products. And like, that's how it goes. So I love that you do that. I think that's so smart, so duplicatable. So,
and they're not thrown off by the business part either. Like I'll get random men every now and then that are like, oh, you're pushing your MLM. And I'm like, yeah, I am. Thanks for watching. But for me, I feel like I get people in my stories and viewing my stories because they're already watching my reels. So it gets them over there. It gets them voting on my polls. It gets them curious about the business. I love getting DMs from women who are like, I've been following you for a while now, and I'm finally had the balls to ask you about it. Like that is like, that's a high to me. Like that's like the most natural, like, yes, she feels like she knows me. She's already comfortable with me. She's obviously wanting to join the business. Like I get excited about it. But what I wanted to show you, and this is funny because Kara Heinzler, this is actually her Instagram, but I screenshotted a post she made on Instagram because I'm going to use that in a reel. It's about the elf on a shelf, right? Is anybody else a victim to the stupid elf? So here's a trick for you. If you save, this is iPhone again, but you can copy and paste words from pictures, and you can do it on TikToks and Reels too. So I'm not even taking the time to type out stuff anymore. I literally am screenshotting pictures and stuff that I find, and I'm just copying and pasting the words. Here, I'll show you real quick. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but I'll use one of my own videos. So let's see. This is one that I did today. So I'm going to screenshot it, right? I'm going to screenshot my reel. Whoops. Don't turn your phone off while you're doing it. So I'm going to screenshot it. Okay. Now I'm going to go into my photos. And when I'm in my photos, you literally, if you hold down over it, it allows you to copy the words. And then when you're in TikTok, you can paste the words right onto the video. So I'm not even typing things out anymore. It takes me like 2 minutes to make one. And guys, if you need content, go follow me. I don't care. You can create Happy Mind all day long.
If you were to go through my screenshots of my phone right now, your face would be there like 10 times. So I do. I love it. No, I love that. So dude, I just think what you do is so smart. And that trick is like, you can literally just do, like, guys, copy your way to the top. Like, you know what I mean? Success leaves clues. If it's working for somebody else, it's going to work for you. It's going to work for you. So, okay, let's talk about follow-up. Like, I feel like follow-up is something that people naturally aren't like, I don't want to say good with, but they don't have like, if you've never done something like this before, you take the first no or the first being left as on red as like oh my gosh. Can you talk about your follow-up and like what the mindset is behind that and like what you do for that?
Yeah. So I actually really enjoy getting people to finally say yes. You get to a point in your business where you're like, you know what? I'm just going to keep asking until they tell me yes. So I have a couple of ways. I'm super pen and paper. I write everything down, everything. And I'm glad that actually I have my stuff in front of me for once. So I use a planner. It's called the Day Designer, big planner. This is one page. This is one day. And the fact that I love this planner is because I can write everything down. In the middle, I write PDTs. So I write every potential distributor, and then I write PLCs on the far right. And then I also write, when people say, oh, order on the 20, whatever, like that's what this is. When I highlight them off, that means they signed. But what I want to show you with this is I love to do, and Heather Juno preaches this, but I do her calendar follow-ups. So I'll go through and I'll go, okay, I'm going to follow up with every Friday for like 2 months. And I'm going to check in with everybody that I can on that date. And then the other thing that I do is I do her messenger cleanup, or I've done this for a long, long time. But what I originally used to do is I used to do the 2-2-2 method. I used to go back 2 months and I would check in. I would go back 2 weeks and I would go back 2 days. Now, what I typically do is I will go back to the day before. So today is Monday. I will go back to, and mind you, I don't have a lot of people because I told you guys I didn't do anything on Sunday, but I'll go back to Sunday, and anybody who has their face next to the message, meaning they read it but didn't respond, those people are the first ones that I'm following up with. And then I'll make sure that anyone in bold, I also check back in with. That means they obviously replied to the message. So go back to the day before, go through the entire day. After you get through the day before, then go back to the day before that. And I'll just keep going through until I feel like I've gotten a good flow of conversations going. And I do the exact same thing on Instagram. So I just go through and make sure that anybody that's read my message and didn't respond to, those are the ones that I'm hitting up first. And I also do my calendar follow-ups. That's just like in my mind, the way that I do that. But I also do host to post follow-ups. So while I'm doing my calendar follow-ups, I'll go through and I'll pick like a random day, or I'll pick a host to post, because I save them all in collections, and I'll go through and follow up with those. It really just depends how much time I have that day, what I'm trying to do that day. Host to post follow-ups are on my list, but I usually just do like the ones from the day before, unless I have like a lot of extra time. Then I'll start to go back through older ones and just check in with people, or ask them to post, or I'll ask the people that posted to post again for me.
It's just like a system. It's just like
it's up. It literally is just up here. I just go.
So, and then you obviously prefer like pen and paper over over your.
I feel like it's just smart to write everything down, because I know like Jade loves her iPad. Like that's her like thing. That's not my thing, because I like to actually physically write things down. But if you're tracking what you're doing, if you're tracking the amount of potentials you're adding, if you're tracking your host to post, if you're actually like physically writing things down and visually seeing them, you're a lot more likely to continue that process of doing it every day. Every morning, the first thing that I do in my planner is I write PDT and PLC. And my goal for the day, Friday was actually a really good day, is I want to fill that entire potential line for both. And that, I think it's like 20 on each, but that's my goal, is to just keep going until I've got 20 on each one. And I mean, if you're at a different place in your business, like you're going Ruby, add 5 a day. If you're going Emerald, add 10 a day. It does not need to be a Sam Bowers 20 a day, right? Guys like that. I'm at a different place. I'm going ambassador in 2023. And if you are too, let's go. But keep your goals aligned with where you're at. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't overdo it. When I was going Ruby, I was not having that many conversations. Now that I'm at this point, that's just what mine looks like.
I was going to ask, are you using Go-Getter planner, or what planner? Is it daily?
Day Designer.
Day Designer. I like the look.
Amazon. It has a black and white cover like this. Oops, sorry, kids' Christmas list. Day Designer.
I love that. That is so cute. Okay, you're inspiring me to want a planner. I feel
and the
like
great thing about it, like I said, is every day, Monday through Friday, is one whole sheet. And then Saturday and Sunday is like, it's shared. Like this is Saturday and this is Sunday. And so on Saturdays and Sundays, I don't typically track my potentials, because I don't work the same way on the weekends as I do during the week. But the weekends are the best time to follow up, because people typically, and remember this, on the weekends are not on their phone as much. So you're able to shoot out a lot more follow-up messages, because people aren't going to respond to you right away, and they're going to get back to you Sunday night or Monday morning. So work on your follow-ups mostly on the weekends. Obviously do them every day, but if you're going to like dedicate time to it, Saturday and Sunday.
dude, I love this. I'm ready to order. I'm inspired. Okay. I want to ask this. Okay. So guys in the chat, yes or no, if you could make in the first 90 days of 2023, I cannot believe we're almost at 2023. What the heck? An extra 2,000 plus a month. Okay. Like if that's your goal and that's right around what your goal is specifically for you right now, let me know if that's you in the chat. Now, my question for you, Sam, is if somebody wants to make, let's say 2,000 or plus, okay, what would you recommend them to do in terms of going for bonuses or building to diamond? I feel like when we started, what you're in for 8 years, I've been in for 6.
Mm-hmm.
The goal was go diamond, right? Ruby, Emerald, Diamond. Now there's people that I feel like are pushing for promotion, or they're pushing for bonuses. Like what's your take on that?
So even me at this point of where I'm at, I go for tier ones and tier twos because I like quick money. I was a server and a bartender. I worked on tips. I worked on money in my hand every time I left. So for me, I love seeing those weekly bonus checks on Thursdays, right? We all love those emails. So when someone comes into this business now, I always explain to them what a commissions check is and what a weekly bonus check is. And if they tell me that they want to make $2,000 a month, I am going right for those tier bonuses. Because if you go for $500 a week, there's your $2,000 a month. And then on the 15th, you're getting a little extra bonus that you weren't expecting. And the awesome part about it is you can work on a promotion while you're working on those bonuses. You just need to be strategic about where you're placing people. So I am focusing on building, even me, I'm building rubies all over my chart because what I can do is I have one distributor come in and then I work on getting 3 more underneath her because you can build, and slow me down if you need to, you can build 3 tier twos off of 1 tier 1. So I can have one person on my tier 1 and I can have 3 tier twos underneath her, and that's a ruby, right? I can place 3 people underneath her, or she can get her own, which is like perfect world. But me, super red world, who loves money, I can place 3 people underneath her and I can do the tier twos and I can have a new ruby. So if you're going, all right, I want my $2,000 a month going into 2023, and you guys start now. Please do not wait for January 1st. Please don't say after the holidays. Please don't say after Christmas. Get those funnels full, start the leads, start the list, start the things now. Because when we get to conference and conferences earlier this year, when we get to conference, you don't want to be that person who's sitting there and, Doug's up on stage, Meredith going, oh, this, and this is announced, this is new, this is this. You want to be that Sam Bowers who's like, I'm already doing these things. I already got these people coming in. I already earned this bonus. When they announced Punta Cana, I already had it earned minus the last thing. And I'm not even joking you, because I was already doing the work to get myself to where I wanted to be. So don't start next week. You can start tomorrow. I'll give you that. Start tomorrow morning, right? Start tomorrow. But get that tier tracker out. If you want to make that $500 a week to make that $2,000 a month, go for that first. You don't need to have this big crazy picture. You don't need to have this big diamond chart. You need to break it down to smaller goals to get you to the bigger picture.
Yeah, I love that. And it's such great weekly money. And you guys, like, now for tier ones for this month, they've upped it from 150 to 250, so that's full-time. You do that weekly, like that's full-time income. And it's really just it's keeping it simple. So whenever you bring someone in, like, what would you do? It's like, okay, let's say that someone's never gotten a 4-in-1. They've never completed a cycle. What would you coach them to do? Like, what, obviously host to post and reel, but like anything that you're like, do this for this amount of time and you're going to get it.
So I usually take them back to how simple, well, it's not, okay. I always say simple, but it's not necessarily simple. I tell them that they need to be bringing in distributors and they need to be teaching those distributors to do the 4-in-1, even if they weren't able to do it themselves, because getting them to do it is going to build that duplication and it's going to build that bigger paycheck weekly and monthly. So I say, who do you know? Who can we find? And you guys, at the end of the day, do a messenger party. And if you don't know what it is, I will gladly teach you, because guess what? I did come up with it. Actually, I'm going to toot my own horn for a second, but do a messenger party. And what that is you literally are doing the old school parties that we did on group pages in messenger form. So you're getting them to get their potentials list together, right? Even if they didn't get their 4-in-1, you can do this at any time. Say you've had a distributor in for 90 days. She still wants to do this, but she's struggling. Then you're going to tell her, hey girl, I want you to get 20 people on a list. I want you to pick a date with me, and I would do a Monday through Thursday evening party. That's the best time to do it. You're going to pick a date. We're going to get this group chat set up. You're going to ask the people if they're willing to join. We're going to get them in here. We're going to go through the script. There's a million scripts floating out. Some of them are way better than the ones I came up with, but you're going to get a script and you're going to go through it. You share about the products, you share what they do, and then you share about the opportunity at the end, and you do a giveaway. That's how you get people to come, is you do a giveaway. Give away a 3-pack of coffee, who cares? But if you can get them all in there and you're able to lead them through this simple script, you're going to help them seal the deal with their customers, because after the party's over, then you're able to message with them and follow up with them and help them to seal the deal. So get their potentials list together, their chicken soup list, whatever you call it, get them in the messenger chat and get them through that party. That's like the biggest thing that you can do with somebody. And after that point, if they're still not getting it, then you got to start getting them really on the host to host train. But messenger parties are where I would definitely start.
Dude, I love that. Okay. Everyone is like, tell me about these messenger parties. So I know that Courtney Bowman just did one, and I saw the scripts for them, and I'm wondering if it's the same thing, but I think we would all love if you would go into detail about
So they're something that I initially tried to do going live in Facebook Messenger. Like, do you know how you can do like a video chat? So that was like my initial thing. I was like, if I can get these people in here and I can video chat them, it's easier to get them to do that than to get them on a Zoom. But we learned really quick that as soon as somebody would start talking or make noise, it would cut out the person that was speaking. So I was like, there's got to be another way to do this. So then we made quick little video clips and we were sending videos like whatever. And people don't watch the videos. They say they do, but they don't. So we then came up with a script in the form of asking questions and then giving them the solution. So it starts out with like, who here's a coffee drinker? Do you prefer hot or cold? You want to keep them interacting. So then you share about the coffee. Then you ask who's done a cleanse before. Then you share the detox. Who's heard of the amazing skinny gummies? You share about them. You're giving them before and afters as you go through. And the one script that I came across, and I think it might actually be Courtney's, it is incredible. It has like the product picture, it has a before and after, and it has like little like whatever. Yeah, I have Amy Spence's too. Hers is really good. But then you literally share like 6 products. Then you share what you can, how to become a VIP. And then after you do that, you share a quick video about the opportunity and what it costs to join. And then you ask them what their favorite products are that you talked about. So that way you're literally giving like your potential or your new distributor ammo. You're saying like, here, like this person was interested in this and this, let's message them about this. This one was into like, you're literally able to show them exactly what to do. And once they get through that party, then you can ask every single person who attended to host their own party. So you're teaching them to branch out their own business with your help. And once you do it with them a couple of times and they're able to do it on their own, and then they're able to launch their own distributors. And here's the mind-blowing one. You can even do a potential distributor party for somebody who doesn't have the money to join. Because at the end, you can talk to them about selling their, Canada's a little bit different. You guys have what, keto coffee, cleanse in your kits. You have them pre-sell those products in order to join. And you explain to the people that are at the party, hey guys, like I really want to join this business. That's why I brought you all here. If anyone is willing to help me out, I'm looking to sell XYZ in order for me to buy my kit. And then I'm able to be a distributor and make money. So it's, yeah, it covers all the bases.
Dang, dude, this is like old school, but new school. It's
It
like,
is like, remember when we
like-
used to do those group pages on
Yeah.
Facebook and like, that's how we ran it. And we literally like sat and timed out like 2 minutes between
Yeah.
each post. You're literally doing the same thing, but in Messenger. And I always tell my hosts, don't get distracted by people leaving because sometimes they're busy and they didn't expect to be. So you know how it says like, Jackie left the chat. Don't worry about that. And also that you want them to interact too. So you want them to be answering questions. You want them, if they've tried the products, to say like, oh yeah, I've tried my gummies. I love them. Blah, blah, blah. Like you want them to keep the party going too. And in the beginning of the script, it definitely says like, to do the giveaway at the end, you have to be active in the chat. That's how we're picking our winners. So that gets them to actually comment.
dude, that is genius. Okay, so I'm just curious, how long do these like last, would you say? Like what would be
20 minutes.
20 minutes. So you're just
20 minutes. And I would always suggest, and Kara Heinzler said this, and I started doing it, do like 2 at a time. Because I always will do like, oh, I'll do Tuesday night at 8 p.m. or whatever. My kids are in bed and I'll have 2 scheduled to do at the same time. You're copying and pasting from boards. So you literally can do them together. So that way you're not like, oh, I have one at 8, one at 8:30, one at 9. No, do 2 at the same time and get them out of the way because you're doing the exact same thing.
Wow. Okay. So, okay. My little brain is like going right
Isn't
now.
that the best feeling though? You're like, I have a million, like all the things.
So crazy. This is crazy. So now is this how you're launching people?
Yeah. So instead of having them go right into host to post like we were doing, like I was having them put up a giveaway post, and then I felt like that worked, but it was really difficult to get a lot of people on board, especially if they had smaller networks. So you're able to essentially work through conversations with them, show them how this business is ran. And then because you're showing them how easy this is, they're able to duplicate that and do it with their distributors when they sign them up, because they literally are told like, here's the scripts, go ahead and launch, like, go ahead and do exactly what I just did for you. And people are more receptive to joining the business, I feel, after they've already seen how the messenger parties work. Because let's say like you host one for me, you just joined the business, your friend is interested in joining the business. She sees how simple something like this is and is like, man, I could do that and make some money. They're going to join because they see how easy it really is.
Okay, so I'm getting a million private messages. Can we do that party? Yeah.
I will send the I have quite a few different scripts. Mine are not even the ones that I use anymore because I've come across so many other people. So I'm like, it's better. So yeah, I'll send over the ones that I have. And
You're amazing.
it's just, there's also like, I wish I knew who came up with it, but there is one for launching distributors. And there is one that's like specifically like just a product one. And at one point I even did like a PDT one.
This is genius, dude. My brain is actually, it feels like it's just a little bit too much information on up there right now. It's crazy. No, I would love that. I would really appreciate that. I would love to do this. Okay. Whoa. I'm like, that was so good. I have one more
And the
question
awesome
for you.
part is you guys, you're literally helping your new distributors complete their bonuses because you're walking them through how to get their 4 customers and their 1 distributor.
Well, and also like, it's so good for duplication because, you know, how did we learn this business? Okay, I'm going to guess it was Jade Hooper's YouTube, right? Like we watched Jade work this business, learn like how she responded, how she said things, and like that's how you learn. And so when all of a sudden you can start, like learning because you're seeing it, that's incredible. Okay.
I mean, I'm so old school that when I joined the business, which was 2 years before you, we were having wrap parties in living rooms. So we were with our enroller. Typically, they would take us to somebody's house. They would show us how to wrap people. They would talk about the most popular products. And then we would help our new distributors sign up reps. You're literally doing the same thing, but you're doing it from your phone. So if you sign up somebody from Canada or somebody from the other side of the country, like I sign a lot of Cali girls for some reason, you're able to help them launch their business with their friends and family without having to fly across the country.
So good. I just feel like this is going to change the game. And like, okay, so and I have another question for you after this, but just one more question on the wrap party or on the messenger party. Like, what are your averages? Do you find that like, are you signing lots from it? Are you getting leads? Like, what can people expect from doing these?
So my favorite part, and like, don't take this the wrong way, but let's say you sign a distributor, they do their party, they fizzle out after a couple of weeks, decide this isn't for them. You still have all their leads because you still have the chat. So you're able to still help these people to sign up. You're able to still help with the follow-ups, and what I always do is, so Jackie, you hosted one, you just joined me, you got, 10 friends to join. After the next day, after the party is over, I instruct you or help you to group message. Like you'll do like me, you, and 1 potential, me, you, and 1 potential. So you'll have 10 different conversations going on, 3-way chats where I'm able to work through these conversations with you. I don't archive those because I make sure that I'm helping them to follow up. So as I'm going through doing my normal follow-up routine, I include those chats in it. I go back through and I'm like, hey girl, do you have any more questions for me or Ashley? Or did you have blah, blah, blah? Like, are you ready to order? Ashley's really trying to hit a goal today. Like she needs 1 more customer to hit her goal. Like I have no problem jumping in there and having that conversation when your new distributor might be a little bit shy to it. You really can coax them through this. And at the end of the day, like I said, if that person fizzles out and they don't end up really doing much, you're still able to help them complete their bonuses. Because let's say, hey, they had 4 people sign up, 4 customers sign up underneath them because that was their party. They were their potentials. You're that much closer to them completing a tier bonus with their actual own people. So you're literally like, it is time consuming, but at the same time, you're helping them to do the things. So you're really not hurting yourself in any way by doing this. Oh, and you did ask my success rate. So typically for a new distributor, as long as they have a decent network coming in, they're usually signing 1 to 2 people per launch party. So that's better than not doing anything.
And you know what, like you said too, that I'm like, this is so true. Like you're like, it's time consuming, but you're spending the time doing the right thing. And how many, like guys, you have to remember, like our cell phones are literally designed to suck you in. Like the apps that we create content on are designed to suck you in. And so many people spend so much time on this business, but it's like, I've been scrolling TikTok I did that on your page. I was like, you just wasted 45 minutes of my life, Sam. These hilarious TikToks.
I do that with Courtney Van Alphen all the time. I'm like, where is she at now?
Yeah,
like,
same. Where is she at?
Too many good people. That is my other tip for you guys. If you are doing TikTok and Reels to find inspiration, set your timer for 20 minutes. And after that timer goes off, get off the app. Okay. Yeah. I will do 20 minutes on TikTok and I save as I go. And once that timer's up, I'm done. I'm off.
I love that. Okay, here's my last question for you because we're at an hour. This has been so good. Guys, can we drop like a 1 or a fire if you can?
I'm
Or
happy to do
1.
it.
This has been awesome. Okay, my last question for you is what is one like book or podcast or like mindset thing that has like really helped you in your business?
So I hate reading. However, I know that self-development is really important and I will do 1 chapter every morning. That is how I start my day. I make my keto vanilla creme because it's amazing. And I sit down and I read a chapter. And right now I'm reading The Power of One by Ed Mylett. I've got like 2 chapters left, but it is so, so, so good. It literally talks about how you are in control of everything around you. So if you feel like you are not focused, if your goals aren't where they need to be, if you need to realign, if you need to just kind of like reset, I would 100% reading that before the new year starts. And then I'm actually going to read Think Like a Monk again because it was so good. I literally have it sitting next to that book because that's where I'm going back to. So those are 2 of my favorites. And then as far as podcasts, now don't kill me because she's with another business. If you guys ever follow Jessie Lee, she's incredible. I follow her on Instagram and I listen to her podcast, and she is awesome because she speaks to every MLM. She doesn't just speak to hers, but she will kick your butt. Her name is Jessie Lee or the Boss Lee. But yeah, the one book that I'm reading right now is called The Power of One by Ed Mylett.
Well, I agree with both of those statements. It's such a good book and such a good podcast. Yes. The People's Mentor is the podcast.
Yeah.
So
her Instagram's really good too. She's constantly popping up on my Insta and like it's the little like kick in the butt I need every time I see it.
yeah, she is good. She's coming to Cabo. I'm like, I might just stalk you and show up. I'm one of those, you know,
I would.
right? Like, of course it's gonna happen. She can't have security yet, right? I'm a fast runner. I'm a fast runner. I'll Instagram live it. Follow me. Just okay. Well, dude, I really appreciate this. This has been fire, and I appreciate you just being so one team, one mission. This has been amazing. And cheering you on to ambassador. Let's go. All right, guys, we'll have this up tonight. You're amazing, dude. Thanks so much. And thank you guys for coming on. We appreciate you guys being on. Okay. Okay, guys. Good night.